Hey, David. How you
How's
doing?
it going, bud?
How'd your choral practice go?
Oh, went good.
What is that for anyway? I don't quite understand.
What is it you don't understand?
Uh, what the thing is that y'all do at Sawgrass Village?
You talking about the church service? It's a service. At 1:00, George and Larry come out here and we have prayer and they preach a mini sermon and we sing a hymn and it's over. It's probably lasts about 30 minutes.
And they do that every
Every day, every week, every Tuesday at 1:00.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So, what do they do in terms of? I mean, they just pull whoever is there that sings in the choir, and I mean, or just everybody joins in. You don't have to have practice for it or anything.
No, I mean it's just for the people that here that want to come to the service. Anybody can come.
Oh, okay. So you probably have what, 20 or 30 people in there?
No, we usually don't have that many today. I think we had about 10. It's not very many.
Well,
but
that's nice anyway.
It's mostly the people that members of St. Andrew that are now living out here now, and some of those are now where they can't come to the service because of other things like
health issues. Yeah. Health issues.
Yeah.
All right. So what time is that every Tuesday?
1:00.
Okay. I'm gonna make a note of that. Just give me 1 second here. Because I might want to just drop in on that.
Yeah, you can come. We'd love to have you.
I'll just tell George and thank you. I appreciate that. I'll tell George and Larry I decided to start going out there instead of going to St. Andrew on Sunday.
No, they still go on Sunday to St. Andrew.
Okay, so let me catch you up a little bit. I spent a couple hours today working on all the conversations we've had over the last 3 or 4 weeks and pulling it all together. And honestly, the 2 hours that I spent doing this would have taken me probably a full week if I didn't have this artificial intelligence program that I'm working on.
Speaking of artificial intelligence, did you see the program on it on the TV this yesterday?
Well, I see so much stuff. Which one are you talking about?
And they were talking about the way Amazon is now using those robots to do all the work and now packaging stuff and sorting it and sending it to the right place and all of that.
Right.
Moving boxes from one place to another and putting it on conveyor belts. It takes it to the different places and puts it on in to mail them out. That's why they can do it so much faster than people can do it.
Mm-hmm. It's funny you mentioned that because I was just reading a couple of articles earlier today, 2 different articles on the development of humanoid robots. So those would be robots. Robots come in all sizes and shapes depending on what they need them for. But, there's half a dozen companies in America that are building humanoid style. So they have 2 legs and 2 arms. And do you know Elon Musk? Do you know that name?
What name?
Elon Musk.
Yeah, he's that rich guy. Yeah.
Right. He's the richest man in the world, and he has several companies. One is Tesla, and the other is the aeronautics, SpaceX. Anyway, he said that within a couple of years, he's going to be able to manufacture something like 1 million robots per year at $20,000 each. So, in other words, and he's usually a little bit, he goes overboard a little bit, but even if it's within 5 years, it'll be a good thing. And we're going to see a time soon when having your own robot will be like having your own car.
Yeah. Yeah, they're gonna put all the whorehouses out of business. They're gonna start building beautiful robots.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that might work out good for a lot of people. Who knows? I tell you what, I got a couple of girlfriends I'd trade in for a robot like that.
You just buy one, bring it home.
Yep.
When you're not using it, put it in the closet.
Oh my gosh, that's creepy. All right, let's get back. Let me give you what we want to do today. I want to go ahead and do in a hurry. Just finish up your story. We're going to start up in Panama, and then jump to, I think it's Gulf Shores that came after that. I want to do that in about 15 minutes, and then I want to spend about another 20 or 30 minutes going through a chronological sequence of your life, because everything is jumping around a lot, and it's even a bit of a problem for this program that I'm using to get it right. So I know that you can't be perfect on this, but I want to just see what we can do with it and make corrections to it later. So I'm going to start a Zoom meeting. Connecting. And okay, I've sent the Gmail invite to you.
Okay, let me go. You send my email, right?
Yep.
Okay, let me go to email. Okay. Okay, now it's asking me, the blue thing I'm supposed to click on is covered up by a thing that says cookie settings, and it won't let me out of it. Zoom uses cookies.
Well, just click, if you're able to click OK to that, do that.
Well, I can't move down to where it says OK. I can't. It just stops right there.
Right.
Wait a minute. Let me see if this will work. Yes, now I'm connected to Zoom. Okay.
Yeah, and I see that you've entered the meeting now. So, tell me when you're able to see my screen.
Okay, can you say something?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
All right, so let me get the recording started. Just a moment.
Recording in progress.
Okay. All right, so we're not going to really need to, we really don't need
what?
I said we don't really need to share the screen. The only reason I'm doing this is so that it can record our conversations. So let's get started with the time when you moved from Atlanta to Panama. And in our last session, we had talked about how you went early by yourself, and Ann couldn't come down right down at that time because Noriega was causing a problem. But that ended pretty quick with the revolution. He was deposed, and then Ann came on down. And do you happen to remember what year that was?
89.
Okay.
I went down in October of 89.
Great. Okay. And did you tell me that you lived on the military base the whole time you were there?
No, I lived downtown in a condo.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Do you remember the name of the condo?
No.
Okay. And I know you've told me this before, but go ahead and tell me 2 or 3 or 4 people that you and Ann were friends with down there.
Well, I was friends with Sam McGinnis. I was friends with Jameson Chi.
What was the last name? Jameson who?
Chi, C-H-E-E.
Okay.
Oriental.
Okay.
Barbara Bacot, B-A-C-O-T.
Okay.
Michelle
Malant, spell that.
M-E-L-A-N-T.
Okay.
How many folks you need to know?
That's fine. You can add more later if you decide you want to do that. So, I just have a curiosity. Did they have
Anna and Manuel Chiquilani?
You better spell Chiquilani.
C-H-S K-A-L-A-N-I. I guess it is. I don't know.
Okay. All right. So, a question: Did they have American baseball down there?
I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Not that I participated in or knew about while I was there.
All right. So, what did you and Ann do on the weekends?
What did we do on weekend?
Yep.
Well, I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. Fine. Do you remember? Did Ann work down there?
No.
Okay. All right. Is there anything that you want to tell me about that happened during the period you were there? Anything memorable?
Anything that happened? Well, before Ann came down there, about a month after I got to Panama, the U.S. Army invaded Panama to take Noriega out of power, and I was downtown in a condo down there, and no one was told that was going to happen. So because they wanted to keep it quiet, and it'd be a surprise. And of course, when they took Noriega out, it also took out his police force, because his police force and his National Guard all were the same people, the same organization.
Yeah.
And so when we took out his National Guard or his army, we took out the police force in Panama, and there was no law and order down there for a while, and it was pretty bad because you'd be sitting in a restaurant and crooks would come in and just rob everybody in the restaurant and leave.
Wow.
Or you'd be driving down the road and you stop at a stoplight, and some guy on the side of the road would walk up to your car. He had a paper bag in his hand. Inside that paper bag would be a big stone, and he just hit the hit the window of the car and break it out and reach in and grab anything you might have in the car.
Mm.
And you couldn't do anything because you couldn't. He'd run off, and you couldn't do anything because there were cars in front of you, cars behind you, waiting for the light to change. So it was a bad time in Panama at that time. But finally, they solved the problem, and they hired a police force and got everything back to normal. There was about a couple of months there when you had to carry a gun anywhere you went.
During that invasion, during that time, was there gunfire in the streets?
During the invasion?
Yeah.
It was.
Okay,
yeah,
so what'd you and Ann do? Just stay in your condo, or, I mean, that's all you could do?
Well, Ann wasn't down there. Ann wasn't down there when all this.
That's right, yeah, okay. So you were not required to go to work during that time when that was going on. You just stayed in the condo, right?
Yeah, under the bed.
Well, I know you're joking about that, but see, you've mentioned several times, every time we've talked about this, you've mentioned that Ann couldn't come down there right now, and I'm glad to get more detail. I knew that it was because of Noriega, but I didn't know if there was gunfire in the streets, people were getting killed, or what it was like. So
yeah, it was a war zone.
So you other munitions other than just rifles? There were grenades and things like that going on? Bombs?
Machine guns, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Woo. So your condo, how tall was it?
I don't know. I was up probably on the 6th floor, I guess. Okay. I don't remember.
So it'd be better, safer up there than on the ground floor, huh?
No, I wasn't on the ground floor.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
No, except that after Ann came down, we used to enjoy sometimes going out to the canal watching the ships come through the locks.
Yeah. I think you mentioned that before. Okay, so now when you moved from Panama, did you move directly to Gulf Shores, or did you go back to Atlanta first?
I went to Atlanta first, and we stayed in Atlanta for just a very short period of time, and then came to Gulf Shores.
And when you first came to Gulf Shores, did you move right into the house that you lived in all that time? You bought that house, or did you stay in an apartment?
We bought the house, and the way all of that happened is that before I went to Panama, I was thinking about retiring in the early fall of '89. I was eligible to retire, so Ann and I, we knew we wanted to come to Gulf Shores, so we knew we wanted to come to the Gulf of Mexico because we had visited here several times, vacationed here several times.
Well, hold on a second, David. You had said earlier that 1989 was the year that you went down to Panama.
That's right, in October of that year.
Okay, so when was it then that you left Panama? You
mean move from Panama back to
Atlanta, right.
Yeah. Well, that was in '95 when I retired.
Okay, so there's some confusion here. So you moved to Panama in 1989, and you were there about 5 or 6 years then, right?
That's right.
Okay, so in 1995, you moved back to Atlanta.
Yeah, we moved back to stay a short time in Atlanta. We didn't have a house there or anything.
Okay.
We stayed there for about a couple of weeks, and then came on down to Gulf Shores.
Okay, in 1995.
But I wanted to tell you about how all of that happened.
Okay.
earlier, before October of '89, I was thinking of retiring before I went to Panama. And I got the offer to go to Panama because it was a big pay raise, and your retirement from the Army, civilian, and the military is the retirement. Civilian retirement is based on your high 3 years that you worked. Your average salary for the high 3 years, the highest 3 years you worked. That's the way they compute your retirement. And so I knew if I went to Panama and accepted the job, my retirement would be a lot bigger than it would be if I just retired, in '89.
Okay.
So I accepted the job in Panama. But before we accepted the job in Panama, when I thought we were going to retire, we came to the Gulf Coast to look for a place to live, houses and everything, because we thought we were going to retire right then. And we came to Gulf Shores, and we looked at oceanfront property all the way down from Gulf Shores all the way down to St. Joe, Florida.
Port St. Joe, Florida.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason, and then we got the job to go to Panama, and I accepted it, and I went to Panama. Well, the whole time that we were in Panama, the only real estate agent that we had contacted when we were thinking about retiring in '89 was Lillian Bemis.
Spell Bemis? Spell Bemis?
Bemis, I think.
B-E-A-M-I. Yeah. Is it B-E-A or
yeah.
B?
I don't know how she spells it.
Okay.
But Lillian Bemis was the only real estate agent that kept in touch with us, and she always sent me a birthday card, and she sent us anniversary cards and things like that when we were in Panama. So when we decided to retire in '95. We decided to come to Gulf Shores, and I contacted Lillian Bemis, and she found us a house, and that's where we lived on Laurel Point Lane.
Okay. And you might notice on the screen that I just found her on Facebook, and she spells it Bemis.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. And so she found that place for you, and you just, right off the bat, you said, that's what we want.
Yep.
Okay. And tell me again what part of Gulf Shores that is in.
It's on Fort Morgan Road. It's the street right before, Laurel Point Lane is the street right before the Holy Spirit Church.
Okay. So if you're going out Fort Morgan Road, it would be on the right if you're going west.
On the right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Okay, so we got a lot of ground to cover now. So you came to Gulf Shores. You retired. Your kids were both living in Atlanta at that time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Both of them were married. And had all of your grandchildren been born?
Well, not both of them lived in it. David Jr. lived in Atlanta.
That's right. Debbie lived in Fairhope.
She lived in Fairhope, right.
Okay. How did she ever get to Fairhope before you and Ann got to Gulf Shores?
How did what?
How did Debbie how did she happen to settle in Fairhope before you and Ann moved to Gulf Shores?
Well, she was married, and that's where they lived.
Right, but I never could understand how she met a boy from down here if you were living in Atlanta and Panama.
I don't understand your question.
Well, y'all didn't have a
what
connection.
What did me being in Panama have to do with who she married or how she found out who she was going to marry?
Well, you were living in Atlanta. Let's see, first Nashville, then Atlanta, then in Panama, and I just didn't understand how she would have happened to have met a boy from Gulf Shores or from this area.
Well, he wasn't from this area. Wait a minute.
That's okay. That's not important anyway.
Yeah, yeah, I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember how she met the guy or where she was when she met him. I don't remember that part.
Okay. So then, when you first moved here, you immediately joined First Methodist Church of Gulf Shores. Okay.
That's correct.
And you immediately joined the choir, right?
Yeah.
Okay. About how long do you think it was that you were in that church before you started meeting with the group on the beach?
Probably about 6 months.
Okay. All right. Great. So, you were with that core of people, that great group of people that I think there was about 15, 16, 17 married couples that eventually formed St. Andrew. We've got all the information we need on that, and made your way eventually to the location on Fort Morgan Road where St. Andrew by the Sea is now. So, kind of the question that I had is that out of those, say, 17 couples, Joan Hand right off the bat put together a little choir, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember how many people were in it? What, maybe 10 or a dozen?
I don't remember how many there were, but we really didn't have a choir when we were on the beach and in that little condo down there. I mean, in that little double wide.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We didn't have a choir until we got really into the sanctuary that they built.
Right. And on another time, I might want to talk to you a little bit about, building the sanctuary and the expansion of the church and Pastor Robert Warren and all that kind of stuff. But we can do that at a different time. But is there anything that you want to mention about that period of time in your life?
What, while we were, no, I get, we were getting settled into Gulf Shores, and, that's when I started, when I first moved down here, I was at loose ends, I didn't have a job to go to, and, I was trying to make the transition between retirement and working every day. And somebody mentioned, so why don't you go down and volunteer at the Christian Service Center? And I said, well, what's the Christian Service Center? And they said, well, about 2 years ago, the preachers and the ministers in Gulf Shores and Orange Beach all got together, and they said, hey, instead of when people have emergency situations, instead of them coming to our individual church offices for help, why don't we form a central place for them to go? And we'll put a food pantry in down there, and we'll staff it with all volunteers, so there'll be no money going towards salaries. All the money we raise will go directly to the cause. And I said, well, that sounds like a good idea. I'll go down there and ask them if they need anybody. So I called the Christian Service Center. And, they said, yeah, we need somebody. Come in next Tuesday. Well, the following Tuesday, I came into Christian Service Center for my first day as a volunteer. And I remember that day for the rest of my life. The first client that came in that morning was a young girl in her early to mid-20s, and she had a small baby in her arms. What had happened is the day before, she, the baby, and her significant other crossed the Gulf Shores Bridge coming into town, and he pulls the car over to the side of the road and says, our relationship is over. I don't ever want to see you or the baby again. and you certainly will never see me again. And he put them out of the car and drove away. And she's standing on the side of the road. Her purse is still in the car, so she has no money, no identification. All the baby stuff's in the back seat. She has no diapers, no baby supplies. All she has is the clothes on her back and a baby in her arms. Mm-hmm. They spent the rest of Monday, all day Monday and Monday night, under the Gulf Shores Bridge to get out of the rain. Mm. And the next morning, she walked into town and stopped at the First Methodist Church, and a volunteer brought them to the Christian Service Center. And they were both covered in mosquito bites. Oh, my gosh. She hadn't eaten in a day and a half. The baby hadn't been changed in a day and a half. Mm. And she was in dire need of help. And so the Christian Service Center, we gave her food, we gave her baby supplies, we rented a motel room so she could rest and properly care for the child. And the next morning, Christian Service Center volunteer drove them to Mobile bus station. We bought her a ticket back to Arkansas, and we gave her traveling money for the trip. And the Christian Service Center has been helping people for the last 25 years.
Well, that's great. I sort of thought of them as just being involved in food donations, but they get involved in other things also, right?
Oh yeah, we pay people for rent. You know, you got the single mom who works in a restaurant and they close the restaurant because of a hurricane or whatever, or for whatever reason she loses her job, but she's looking for work, but her rent's due today. So we give her rent money for that. Mm-hmm. The woman that her doctor says she urgently needs to see a medical specialist at UAB in Birmingham. She doesn't have gas money for the trip. We give her gas money for the trip. The man who had COVID and came work for 2 weeks, and they cut off his electricity because he hadn't paid his utility bill. We give him the money for the utility bill. These are the things the Christian Service Center does, and when they do it, routinely every day. And then they've got the food pantry there. That's the largest food pantry on the Alabama Gulf Coast. Mm-hmm. We take donations in for that. People bring food in, but the best thing to do is just give the center money, and then we can buy the food from the food bank in Mobile a lot cheaper than the grocery stores. Going to a grocery store and buying it.
Oh yeah.
So, yes, it's a great opportunity, and I've been affiliated with the Christian Service Center ever since we moved here.
I think that everybody that works there is just like a magnet. They're drawn to that place.
Yeah.
I think y'all probably have some angels working there that you can't see, some invisible angels. It's a wonderful place. Okay. So we know that the Christian Service Center has been a great part of your life in your retirement. And St. Andrew and singing in the choir there and all the things that Joan Hand did and Robert Warren, pulling things together at the church. Is there anything else that came to mind? Did you play golf with?
No, I'm not a golfer.
Me either. So, Ann passed away, what, about 2 or 3 years ago?
She passed away May the 25th on 2021.
Okay. All right. And so you've been still retired after that, still singing in the choir, still just doing what you've always done. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to mention any other people in your life in Gulf Shores before we wrap this up?
Say that again?
Is there anybody else you want to mention that, in the years that you lived in Gulf Shores?
Well, we had good friends on Lower Point Lane that we Scott and Sharon Ahola that and they both used to come to St. Andrew, but they're going to a different church now.
That's AHOLA. So I'm going to spell these because the text to the speech to text software needs to know how to spell these. Okay, who else?
And then we live next door to Tom and Kathy Rasnan.
How do you spell that?
I don't know.
Take your best shot at it.
Rasnein.
Okay, all right. Who else?
And on the other side of us lived and I can't think of his name right now, but he's neighbor across the street. I'm talking about on the same side that we were on.
Okay.
There was he was a victim of Agent Orange in Vietnam.
Okay.
And he was in a wheelchair, and I can't bring him and his wife's name up with me right now, but the Bumans lived across the street.
And what was their first name?
Homer and Marge.
Homer and Marge Buman. Bumann. Okay. Who else?
Right. And their daughter goes to our church.
Suzanne.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll see Suzanne in about 30 minutes at the church for this committee meeting. All right.
She's the daughter of Homer and Marge.
Yeah, I know that. Homer, I think she told me that Homer designed one of the walkways at the church. Was the architect.
Yeah, he did design work.
That's great. Okay, we got to move along. So, anybody else you want to mention, or anything else about Gulf Shores?
Well, next door to Homer and Marge was Lorraine Getty.
Yeah.
She's a real estate agent here in town. She doesn't live there anymore, but she lived there at that time.
How do you spell Getty?
Getti.
Okay. All right.
And next door to her was Dick and Brenda Jones.
Okay.
And I don't know what they did, what he did for a living.
Okay.
She was a Native American.
All right. Anybody else?
That's about it for the street.
You can add more in later if you want to. But for now, I want to go back and start all over and do this. We're going to have a lightning round. We're going to talk about the years, the dates of all the events, all the places you live. If it doesn't come to mind within 10 seconds, just so you can't remember, we'll talk about it for a second and then move on. So, you were born in what? What year?
34.
All right. And then from there, we're going to jump to your high school graduation was?
51.
All right. And you went immediately to the
Mississippi State College.
Right, Mississippi State, MSU, for 51.
Graduated in 55.
Yep. Then you went to Georgia for boot camp.
Boot camp.
Right.
Yep.
So that would be 1955. And you probably, in 1955, you went out to Texas, right?
Right, Fort Hood.
Okay. All right, and you were there for How many years?
Maybe a couple of years, 56, 57, somewhere.
All right. Then you moved back to Starkville, and you bought chicken houses and ran them for 2 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 57 to 59.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And what year did you go to work for Farm Bureau?
19, probably late part of 59.
Okay. All right.
We got married in 59, yeah. Probably late part of 59, or maybe 60.
Wait a minute. Something's not right here, because she was 6 years younger than you, Ann was. And
yeah.
I was thinking it was sometime after you came back. So you met Ann right away when you came back out of the military?
Well, yeah. So I don't remember how long I was out of the military before I met her, but it was not too.
What was your wedding date?
Hell, I don't remember. Oh, it's in, let's see, we got married in, it's on my ring and I can't get it off my finger.
Okay, that's okay.
59, it was in 59, we married in, I think, August of 59.
Okay, that's close enough. All right, so then you came back in 1957. So I'm thinking that you actually met Ann when you came, right after you came back from the military.
That's pretty close, yeah.
You met her in 57, and then within a couple of years, you got married.
That's right.
All right. What is David Jr.'s birthday?
What is his what?
His birthday.
Hell, I don't remember without looking it up.
Do you know the year that he was born?
Well, if you'll give me a minute, I'll tell you.
You can't take a minute. You can only take 15 seconds. You can look it up later. All right.
Then I don't know.
All right. Do you remember what city you were living in when he was born?
Vicksburg.
Vicksburg. Okay. So you got married in 1959. You were just about to get out of you got out of the chicken business and went to Farm Bureau in 1959. And what city were you working in when you started with Farm Bureau?
Columbus.
That was your first employment with Farm Bureau in Columbus, Mississippi?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And now I'm getting crossed up. So.
No. Wait a minute. No. Yeah. That's right. Columbus, Mississippi.
Okay.
Farm Bureau.
All right. What was the next job that you had or location after Columbus?
That would be the Vicksburg job with the Corps of Engineers.
Do you remember the year?
No.
Okay, just a moment. Okay. We still need to get David's date of birth, or at least the year he was born. No, Debbie. Debbie was older than David, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you remember where you were living or where you were working when Debbie was born?
Where I was working?
Yep.
Well, I was probably working for Farm Bureau. I mean, I was probably working for maybe in I don't know.
Okay, we'll figure it out later. So, you can't remember what hospital was Debbie born in? Was it a Starksville hospital?
Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, y'all could have been living in Columbus or Vicksburg, and she could have been born in Starksville, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we got kind of a conglomeration of dates here. Do you remember the date that you went to Vicksburg? The year?
That I went to Vicksburg?
Yep.
That would have been probably 19. I don't know. I don't remember.
Do you remember anything that was going on in the world at that time?
Probably 1960, 61, somewhere along in there.
Okay. All right. So, and don't feel bad if you can't recall. You know, I have problems going back 10 or 15 years on a lot of things. So it's just part of the deal. So, if you went to Vicksburg in 60 or 61, how many years apart are Debbie and Dave Jr.?
I don't remember.
No, I mean, what was the difference in their ages?
Well, she was probably a couple of 3 years older than him.
Okay, so probably when you went to Vicksburg, David had probably been born by then, also. Okay.
No, he was born in Vicksburg.
Yeah, he was born. Great.
But Debbie wasn't born in Vicksburg. She was born probably at Starkville Hospital.
Okay.
Where I was living, where we were living at that time, I don't remember that. That's too far back.
Have you got a record written down somewhere of Debbie and David's date of birth?
Yeah, I got it, but I can't get it because I'm on your Zoom thing. It's on my computer.
You can do it later. I'm going to give you a list of what I need later on anyway. Okay. After Corps of Engineers at Vicksburg, what was the next city that you lived in?
Well, we went from Vicksburg to Hawaii.
Okay. And what year?
I don't know.
Can you tie in anything that was happening that year in the United States?
No.
Who was president? Do you have any idea?
No.
Okay. All right. So in Vicksburg, do you have any idea how long you worked in Vicksburg?
Mm.
1 year?
No.
10 year? 1 year or 10 years?
No. We worked in Vicksburg for maybe 3 or 4 years, I guess.
All right. So probably around 1964, 65, you moved to Hawaii.
Yeah, probably. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So just recollecting, I think that I don't think John Kennedy was president then. I think that would have been Eisenhower. Does that ring a bell for when you moved to Hawaii?
Well, I don't. No, who was president when I moved to Hawaii?
Okay.
Why is that important?
Well, because it could give you a clue. Suppose you remembered who was president and remembered it was the year of the inauguration. That would tell us exactly when you moved to Hawaii.
Well, I don't know.
All right. Okay. So after Hawaii, where did you move? To Nashville?
Hawaii to Nashville.
All right. And do you know what year you moved to Nashville?
No.
You know how many years you lived in Hawaii?
I think we were there about 4 years.
All right. So Nashville then would be around 1968, 69.
Well, in there, I guess.
Okay. You didn't live in Nashville too long, did you?
You what?
You didn't live in Nashville very long, did you?
No. Well, no, we were in Nashville for a little while, but not all that long.
How long do you think?
Nah, I don't know.
Okay, after Nashville, you moved to Okinawa?
Nashville to Okinawa.
Do you remember what year?
No, let's see. From Vicksburg, we went to Hawaii. From Hawaii, we went to Nashville. Well, I didn't live in Nashville. I lived in Antioch, Tennessee, which is a suburb.
Yeah.
From Antioch to Okinawa. From Okinawa to Stone Mountain, and Stone Mountain to Panama.
Yep.
That's the sequence of this. And from Panama to Gulf Shore.
I know the sequence, but I'm trying to get approximate dates. So, if you lived in Nashville 68, 69, you probably moved to Okinawa around 1970.
Okay.
I'm going to put 1970 with a question mark, and I'm going to send you these dates. If you'll spend a little time on this, you can probably figure out some of these dates or have some things written down somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. So how long were you in Okinawa?
We were in Okinawa about 2 years.
Okay. So you came back to Stone Mountain about 1972. Okay. Now, just so you'll know, 1972 was the year that a lot of hippie stuff was going on. People were having anti-war protests and all that stuff. So, does that sound like the year that you moved back to Stone Mountain?
Well, I don't remember any hippie stuff going on where we live.
Okay, but I mean nationally, it was. So in Stone Mountain, I think you.
That was the Korean. That was when people were protesting the Korean thing, I guess.
No, Vietnam. The Vietnam.
Vietnam, right? I mean, Vietnam, yeah.
I think you told me you lived in Stone Mountain about 6 years, right?
We lived in Stone Mountain longer than that.
Okay. How long?
About 13 years.
Ah, okay. So that'd be about now. Okay, now we're talking. So that would be 1972 to 1985. And I think you said earlier that was 1985 you moved to Panama, right? Or was it 1989?
89 is when I went to Panama.
Okay.
October 89.
All right. So then you were in Stone Mountain in 1989, right?
Yeah, earlier part of 89.
All right. So, and if you lived there for 13 years, then that means 1976 would be when you moved there.
Okay.
So you moved to Stone Mountain 76 to 89. All right. So that's all sounding pretty good. That would give you about 4 years in Okinawa.
Uh-huh.
All right. And what year did you move back from Panama to Gulf Shores?
95.
All right.
I retired in April of 95.
Okay. All right. All right. I think that just about covers it. Is there anything you want to add?
Can't think of anything.
All right. I'm going to, probably tomorrow, I'm going